Hello. Part 2. I just took a client, so I had to take a little break here. So I want to talk more about, because I noticed I kind of went off somewhere else. That's just how I am. Anyway, I do take notes, but I don't really follow them sometimes because I want to speak freely and candidly, and sometimes something more important might kind of come up to the surface, and I'll just talk about that. But what I meant to talk about was how there's two different types of detoxing, and they're both equally important. You know, there's the one which is, you know, what we're eating, what we're putting in our body, abstaining from all the toxins, and of course my favorite way is to do a juice cleanse, but that's not super necessary. No, not everyone can possibly do that, and so I know it's kind of a lot to ask. But for me, that's what works, because it gives me something to do with my hands, with my mind, with it. It's just very involved, you know, and I like that because the more I'm in something else, the less I'm thinking about the fact that I'm not drinking. So at least that's what helps me at first, and to start to build that positive momentum. So anyway, so that the whole first part is just think of it this way. It doesn't have to be juices, but think about wholesome foods. Just wholesome foods, you know, not Pringles, not Del Taco or McDonald's or any bad food, anything that takes a lot to digest, you know, no cheese or meat, and if it is meat, make sure it's real lean and all that stuff. And there's reasons why. I mean, obviously, I mean, for me, I just don't digest certain things very well, so it feels like there's that weight, you know. So obviously not a lot of pasta or bread or anything, because it just makes me feel heavy, and then that makes me feel lethargic, and then that makes me feel kind of like a lump on a log. So the more light and airy and easily digestible foods, the better, you know, just because you're gonna, the whole goal here is to build our energy, because with energy then we have a proper baseline to begin a new life, to begin something that's going to be so magical and beautiful, and something that we're going to surprise ourselves with how much we're living to our true potential. We are becoming the best version of ourselves. So the more energy you have, the better. One quote that always sticks with me, it would just come in my mind all the time. The quote from The Breakup with Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn, how it's in the preview, so you don't even have to see the movie because it was just so funny, because it's so relatable. But she goes, you never do the dishes. And he's like, why would I want to do the dishes? She's like, I want you to want to do the dishes. And he's like, why would I want to do the dishes? And that's how we all have that. Like, why would I want to make my bed? Why would I want to wash my car? We just force ourselves to do things, right? Well, when your energy's skyrocketing, you want to do it. It's just like you want to. Like I get like a little high from it, which is weird, because that's the last thing you want to do when you have low energy, or you're hungover, or you're feeling down about something. The last thing you want to do is something, you know, productive, and it's one of those things you just kind of brush to the side over and over, and then it's like, ugh, and then it becomes a big mess. Anyway, so part 1 of detox, just cleanse this vessel as much as you can, you know, as much as you can. That's so important. And do it in whatever way makes it fun for you, you know, whether it's ordering from a small store, a juicing store near you, or making it yourself, or having your significant other do it, or your mom or whoever do it for you. I do them for my family all the time. They love them. And even if you don't drink, a lot of people who are just, you know, health conscious, they want to be able to, I use it as like a reboot, you know, like if I've been craving, you know, fast food lately, or right after the holiday, you just kind of feel weighed down. It's just a way to hit the reset button and then start to crave wholesome foods again. So anyway, so yeah, cleanse the vessel. so we have a lot more energy. So that's detoxing internally. So this video and the prior one was meant to be, so this will be part 2 of detoxing your environment. So think of yourself as in a bubble. Excuse me. Think of yourself as in a bubble. Like we all have our own energy fields, and like, or you know, spiritual circles might call it an aura, or whatever, but we all have an electromagnetic field. And so for me, I've always been very, very, very sensitive. So I can tell just within the first 30 seconds, if someone walks into a room, I can tell. And a lot of people are this sensitive too. I'm not like psychic. I don't have magical gifts. Everyone has this gift of intuition. I'm just really tapped in. If someone walks into a room, I could tell if they've had a bad day, just like instantly, or something bad happened, or if they're in a really good mood and they have good news, or whatever, because that's their energy field. And so the more unconscious we are, the more we don't really even notice that about other people, or what we're emitting, what we're putting out. We don't notice it. It's just kind of like, because we're not conscious. We're just kind of like, whatever. So the more we're clear here, the more we're going to be sensitive without here too. So I noticed, like, when I actually, in a way, when I'm hungover, I think we all kind of are more sensitive to like sound and anything that's uncomfortable, like any bad smell or something. Like, just because we're like so sensitive in other ways. But that's probably a whole other. There's probably some sort of science behind that. I don't know. But anyway, the importance of your environment is so crucial. It's so crucial because we're trying to come out of this hell on earth type of vibration, this old operating system we were in, right? We want to break all these old patterns that kept us there. So we kind of have to flip our life upside down in a good way, so think of purging and think of remodeling and think of, I've been wanting to get a new car, anything at all that will excite you, that you have the means to do. Now is the time to do it, because we want to clean slate, right? We want to put our old stories behind us, our old self behind us. That doesn't exist anymore. We want nothing to do with that anymore. We don't want to identify with that anymore. So anything that no longer serves you, it brings you any kind of negative vibe or emotion, even if it's not directly attached to any, like an ex-boyfriend or someone who's passed away. Like, some things you want to keep, but maybe keep them from now just out of your view. This doesn't mean you have to trash them. It just means get them out of your environment for right now. And that also includes people, any negative Nancy's, anyone, and they might mean well, and you might love these people to death and would do anything for them, but right now you have to make that executive decision. Like, I'm at a crossroads. I really need to focus on me and focus on what's going on here. So I can't be distracted with any kind of negativity whatsoever. And don't make it a thing. Just kind of like arm's length with a lot of people. And this is so crucial. This is so crucial that you might have to take a vacation from work. You might have to step away from work for a few days if you have the means to do that too. So a lot of this detox, there is planning involved. There is a lot of planning involved. This is life changing. This is like, it's not going to be as elaborate as planning a wedding, but think about how much greater. You know what I mean? Like, your life. This is life changing. So it might just take a few days to plan. It might take a couple weeks to plan, but there is some planning involved. And sometimes you can do it abruptly without much planning at all, but it is about positioning yourself in such a way that there's no excuses or crazy hurdles that are gonna. Because I think the alternative is gonna be go to rehab. These videos some of them are for just someone who just wants to change, but a lot of these are for me. I mean, that's where this whole channel started. These are reminders for myself. This is a way to hold myself accountable, to stay on track. And they're reminders of what happened, what I went through, and why to never go back there, and how to never go back there again. So a lot of the times I'm working from the bottom, and from that bottom place, I had to make that executive decision. I can either follow the light and do all the positive right things, or I can continue down this path where everything just kind of goes to the unknown and it's dark. So I'd much rather take those leaps of faith and go towards the light now. And it just takes some effort, but it becomes fun after a while. So it does take some planning, but for me, I just did it within a couple of days. Luckily, we were in a lockdown situation, so I didn't have to worry about work. Now, if I did have to worry about work, no one has to know anything, no one has to know, like, I've done a lot of detoxes while I wasn't necessarily changing my life. So people leave you alone when you say you're doing a juice cleanse. That's one of the reasons I like doing it that way, is because people are like, oh, you're doing that, good for you, cool, keep it up. Most people will leave you alone. They will be like, why aren't you drinking? And you'll just say, oh, I'm just doing a reboot, I'm just doing a juice cleanse, keep it real casual, no big deal. But then there's other people who are in your corner and they want you to succeed and they want you to change your life, and for the better, of course, and they're gonna be your support system. So that'll be up to you to decide. For me, I had my family in my corner, but I also they weren't physically there. They weren't physically there for me. They couldn't be, and that's okay. I like to be alone when I'm in any kind of pain or discomfort, or this is an internal thing. Like when you do go into rehab, they take away your cell phone, they strip you of everything, your whole identity, so that does serve a good purpose. It's to completely derail you from your old reality and start a new beginning. So what I like about this method, the way I did it, is the integration process back into your real life. It's a lot easier than going from some facility and then now having to integrate back into your old life. That's really hard to do, and that's why I think there's a lot of people that come out of rehab, they don't know what to do, just like in prison too. They come out and they don't know how to reintegrate back into life, everyday life. So if you need to take a few days off of work, do it. If you can't, that's okay. Just make sure you carve out hours a day to spend with yourself, journaling and taking inventory of what are the reasons you want to change. What do you want to see? What do you not want to feel anymore? What do you not want to go through again? What patterns are you trying to break? What addictions are just really killing you slowly? Because they are. I mean, if it's like a perfect storm for some people. You're sensitive, you're creative, you're an outcast, or outsider, and if there's frustration and not feeling seen or understood. It's you against the world, and then your one constant, your one thing to hold on to is usually an addiction or of some sort. For me, that was like, well, I might not have anyone around today, but I got you, Bud Light, it's you and me. You and me against the world, and it didn't really do anything for me except for waste time, precious time, and then end up making me feel worse. So anyway, so your environment, detoxing your environment. And what I mean by that is what I did, and it felt really, really, really good. The first few hours, or maybe even the first day, feels weird because you're just like looking around like, what do I do, But that goes away. Luckily I am naturally creative, but I think everyone is creative, by the way, in some way, shape, or form. Everyone is creative. It's just you might not have a existing hobby already. And the first few days, you might want to just lay low and not do anything. That's totally fine. But what I try to do is, instead of Netflix, it was going to be, my rules were, it's got to be something educational or uplifting. So instead of watching, Breaking Bad, I would watch The Little Mermaid. Or instead of watching the news, I would listen to Lewis Howes podcasts on neurology, or, whatever, just anything that interested me at all, And so in this whole, what's kind of fun, and no matter whether you're creative or not, what's kind of fun is developing your new baseline, creating a new morning ritual and night ritual. So what I started to do, so my morning routine had five things. Every morning, get out of bed, make the bed, brush my teeth, feed my kittens, make a pot of coffee, roll out the yoga mat, 10 to 15 minutes of yoga, then 5 to 10 minutes of meditation. Then after that, I don't even know how many things that was, but that was my morning every morning and it's still pretty much like that. Give or take the coffee and yoga. Sometimes I don't do yoga. I'd go for just straight to a walk, or sometimes I just don't do the meditation then, but I'll do it after the walk. So some of them are, but at the same time, I make my bed. I do everything this. I create this baseline, and then after a few minutes of stretching on the floor, whether it's yoga or just stretching, sit quietly and set my intention for the day. Like, I'll just say, you know what, today I want to feel acknowledged. I want to feel acknowledged at work, And so just by setting that intention, like, I want to take pride in my work, and I want it to be noticed. What's crazy is it did start to happen. I would just go the extra mile, which I already try to do anyway, but it's crazy when you set this nice positive intention for the day. Like, I want to be more prideful at my job. I want to really, I want people to notice how much I love my job. It happens, and it might be something simple like, I get compliments all the time at work, and I think it's because people can sense that I do love what I do. And anyway, so just setting an intention, or today I want to be all about harmony. Effortless harmony. I just want things to just harmonize all around me. And it's crazy how by setting those intentions, sometimes I forget that I set that intention, but that's just kind of the mood of the day. And then later, I'll look at a diary and something and be like, oh my God, that day I got an acknowledgement at work, or that day, like, everything just went so good, or whatever. But just setting some sort of, like, today I want to whatever, and just keep it general and keep it light and keep it positive. And setting that every day as part of your routine, only good things can manifest. Like, it's not like before you were like waking up like, I'm gonna, really mess with someone today. It's not like that. It's just this time there's that intent, So that really, really helped as creating this new environment, detoxing out of the old, waking up and looking around like, what, not enjoying the birds chirping outside, crap like that. Now it's like, ooh, birds are chirping, oh, a butterfly. Taking those moments to have gratitude, waking up with energy and waking up in a good mood is completely new to me. That was not my norm before. Before it was like, my first thing was like, So it's nice to have, over a year now, I've woken up just like, good morning, Martha, how are you? Are you hungry? Let's go get you some food. I wake up like that now. I'll wake up and just stretch. And another thing that's part of it is I would put on some sort of background music. There's all these different channels that have like different frequencies for different types of moods. Anyway, so I added a lot of those to my playlist and just kind of just go with it. Or sometimes I might want some Motown to start my morning, and I'll put that on and just kind of dance around the house, whatever. But now it's about creating this wonderful environment. You've purged everything, got rid of anything that doesn't suit you anymore, and replaced it with just this nice energy. I think a big part of it is cleanliness and decluttering, because for me, I know this is for a lot of people too. I talk about it a lot with my clients, but when you declutter, for some reason, your whole mind just feels better. Everything just kind of, there's more harmony there in your environment, and that's your mental environment and your physical environment. It's all connected. So anyway, yeah, part 2 of the detox is your surroundings. So what I did was, this actually went on longer than I thought because I liked it so much, but I said no news. Of course I would get news some way, but I wouldn't make it any part of a routine. So instead of like first thing in the morning, what's going on today, you're looking at something negative that could be triggering for you. So why even, if it doesn't directly affect you, you don't need to know about it. So that was huge. Not that I was never really into watching daily news anyway, or reading about daily news, but this was during, of course, the pandemic. We want to know, but I'm like, no, if it's that important, I'll find out from family members or whatever. I don't know. So yeah, no news, no social media. I know that's an addiction in itself for a lot of people, but it's got to go. It's all negativity. It's all negativity. So it's not that I went off completely, but I would have limits. Like Facebook, I think was, oh God, I think I went on like 5 minutes a week, if that. And then Instagram about 5 minutes every couple of days, just to see my niece and nephew, or if a friend would mess. Some people, they take it off their phone completely, and I think that's awesome. For me, I never was that attached to begin with, so whatever. But those things, they are low vibration. I know they don't seem like that because there's a lot of puppy dogs and all that stuff, but it's better to just curate. I felt, for me, this is something you can figure out on your own, but for me, I curated my own YouTube so that the algorithm would pick up all like things about positive things, positive lifestyle changes. So different podcasts would come on, or different background music, meditative music, spiritual teachers might pop in there. Law of attraction was huge, because it's just endless juicy material, and then you listen for hours, and it's great. So replace anything social media with good stuff, and then avoid the conspiracy theory stuff. I love conspiracy theories and reading about them and stuff, but that too has its own low vibration, and it's not something good to get sucked into, because that can become kind of a hell on earth type of a vibration. We're trying to look for a heaven on earth type of vibration, which is very high vibration. So anything high vibrational, put into your environment, pull it into your environment, and then that will become effortless after a while. First it's like, oh, I have to like reach for something, but then it's amazing how much I uncovered just on my own bookshelf with how many cool books I had. I'm like, I didn't even know I had this, like a lot of them. I have so many good books that I'm like, oh my God. So it's all around you. You just gotta develop an eye and ear for those positive things, and then that'll start to grow. Anyway, looks like I'll have to go into it chapter 3 on this, but anyway, those are all real important things, and but yeah, setting the tone when you wake up in the morning, having some sort of routine, whatever feels good for you. That's something, anything that makes you feel good. Don't make your bed if you don't want to make your bed, but that for me, that's something I've never been really good at. So I'm like, what, it'll be a little challenge, and then every day when I'm done with my day, I come home and I see that, or I get ready for bed, I'm like, like it's all like whatever. But whatever morning routine you can, and that's kind of fun. You just develop your own thing, like, every morning I'm gonna have toast with jam, or I don't know, whatever, or I'm gonna have coffee outside and bird watch, things like that. There's so many wonderful things. So just have first 4 to 6 things in the morning that you do every morning, and that creates your baseline, because we want a nice proper baseline now, and because you want to grow, you want to build this new foundation, right? So anyway, that's it for now. Bye.